Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Wednesday the 6th of August. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Solid results have been achieved in a major Waikato Regional Council possum control operation, carried out recently over 18,000 hectares south of Te Kuiti. The $230,000 operation on relatively accessible private and public land involved ground-based methods including brotifacom and bait stations, cyanide and trapping. The work was carried out in the Aria and Piopio East priority possum control areas, which are part of the wider 76,000 hectare Central King Country Possum Control Project. Live sea creatures in aquariums and displays on the Rena Grounding Research are just part of the University of Waikato's Coastal Science stand at this week's Tauranga Careers and Business Expo. At the event, Coastal Science Chair Professor Chris Battershall and Research Fellow Dr Phil Ross will answer questions about studying coastal science at the University of Waikato and Tauranga and the future career options it could lead to. Researchers from the Coastal Marine Group will be at the Tauranga Careers Expo at Tech Arena Bay Park Stadium on Friday, August the 8th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, August the 9th from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Kiwi innovators could win a share of $90,000 to develop fresh ideas that benefit conservation in a new national award scheme launched yesterday. The first ever World Wildlife Fund New Zealand Conservation Innovation Awards seeks to showcase novel and effective ways to support communities to protect and restore our unique biodiversity. First prize in each of three categories, product, project and research, is a $25,000 grant with three runner-up grants of $5,000 each. World Wildlife Fund New Zealand Head of Conservation Projects, Lee Barry, says New Zealanders have a proud history as conservation pioneers, inventing groundbreaking traps and tranquilizer darts now used throughout the world. The Environmental Protection Authority has released the Ruakura Board of Inquiry's draft decision on the proposed Ruakura development plan changed to allow the development of an inland port. The Board of Inquiry endorsed Tainui Group Holdings Limited and Chedworth Properties Limited's proposal, and the decision took into consideration evidence submitted by the Hamilton City Council during the hearings process. The EPA referred the Ruakura development plan change request to a Board of Inquiry for consideration in August 2013, as the proposal was considered to be of national significance. The spray season for kiwifruit growers starts this month, and the industry is working hard to minimise spray drift. In recent years, the Bay of Plenty Spray Focus Group, which includes representatives of kiwifruit marketer Zespri, New Zealand Kiwifruit Growers Incorporated, Kiwifruit Vine Health, the public and regional council staff, have worked to reduce the effects of sprays on the community by using best practice spraying methods. The kiwifruit industry has also made it compulsory for growers to use low drift technology when spraying. Now for the marine forecast. West Coast Raglan, Thursday morning northwest 25 knots, rising Thursday night to a westerly of 35 knots with very rough seas out there. High tide in Raglan is 7:02 at night. East Coast Bay of Plenty turning northwest 20 knots in the morning, rising to 30 knots at night. Cloud increasing and showers from the evening. Your high tide in Tauranga is at 3:42 p.m. Just ahead, we get an update on the Tauranga Eastern Link. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Tauranga Eastern Link is said to be a road of national significance. Construction of the road is due to be finished by late 2015, but they are ahead of schedule. I spoke with the project manager about some of the major milestones recently.
Okay, so we're now 3.5 years into the project, 1 year to go. We recently opened up the Kaituna River Bridge, which allows construction traffic to get from one side of the project to the other. We've opened up the eastbound lanes from Timanga down to Domain. We've opened up the Paingara roundabout just recently, and there was a cultural structure we built down there, and then we've also done built a lot of asphalt. We put a lot of asphalt down, and quite a bit of it people will never see until we open up the project.
Another major is the Paeronga Way Station.
Yeah, so the Paengaroa Way Station is a facility that we have built for the police. It'll enable them to get the trucks and look at their brakes and their steering and their suspension, and then they'll be able to check also the weight of the loads on it. So we built a pit with shaker plates and brake testing equipment. So the police are very happy with this facility, which enables them to get off the side of the road and also for them to be much more efficient in checking the trucks.
And I understand it's quite state of the art.
Yeah, well, that brake testing equipment and the shaker plates hasn't been used in any of the police facilities to date, so it's they're very, very happy to have it in. Yeah, so that project, it's one of 7 enabling works, and it's the last one to be built. We separated off some work so that all the work wouldn't be in the main contract for the Tauranga Eastern Link, so that other contractors would get a chance to do some work, and it cost $2 million to build it.
What's this about a Waharoa?
Yeah, Waharoa, it's a gateway structure. So when we were excavating around the roundabout, we found a old Maori settlement, which was a village which was there to grew the vegetables, the kumara, the tara, that sort of thing. And so what we did was we effectively just erected this cultural structure to commemorate the area for the village, and also to signify the start or end of the Tauranga Eastern Link.
A lot of noisy compacting work needed to be done for the road. Is that all over?
Yeah, well, we've still got a year to go in construction, so a lot has been done. The real noisy bit that we've got is the bridge piles. So all the bridge piling is done, it's all complete. That meant, a big hammer knocking a pile down into the ground. Now we've just got normal construction activity with trucks and diggers. And
I understand you're quite ahead with the project.
yeah, so at the moment we're contractually it's the end of 2015, but at the moment the contract is ahead of schedule, so we're looking mid-2015, but that's weather dependent, so if we get some bad weather that could very easily push things back, so fingers crossed it's going to be this middle of next year.
You can keep up to date with the TEL progress by visiting nzta.gov.nz/projects/TEL. Hamilton has a new business park which has a vision to be a bustling freight hub linked to the main trunk line. Environmentally friendly with walkways around existing waterways and all just 8 kilometres north of Hamilton. Anne-Marie spoke with the project manager, Graham Lee, to find out more about the Northgate Business Park.
Northgate Business Park is an exciting new development north of Hamilton at Horotū, 109 hectares and an environmentally aware place to do business. Would that be correct, Graham?
Yes, it is. We've put a real focus on this. Obviously, the 109 hectares has some existing streams running through that area, and we've made sure that we are looking to protect those streams and in fact enhance them, and we want to make that a public friendly area, that so any businesses that work out of Northgate will be able to access those in their lunch times, those sorts of things, with tracks made through that, some boardwalks, and planted up in the appropriate plants. So it's we're looking to protect the waterways that are currently there.
That's fantastic. And you're looking to get some trucks off the road by hopefully working in with the main trunk line for freight.
Yeah, correct. So then there's a whole reduction in fuel costs and all those sorts of things, and large trucks on the road. So I think it's an environmentally friendly place is how it is, and we've gone to quite good lengths to try and maintain some of the trees and that are there, rather than just a scorched earth type policy. They've been working hard in that area, so it's come up well.
So tell me about the actual park. How many businesses do you have on board and there at the moment? You're ready to go. You've got capacity to just build.
Yeah, correct. We have, and we've we've launched stage 1A, which is 14 hectares, and provided the roading for those 14 hectares. And part of that is the connection to the old state highway. And we've put a signalised intersection there now. It's with controlled traffic lights. And the first company, Waikato Milking Systems, has built a very large building there and moving in. They're just about to build their head office area there as well. That's going to start in the next couple of months. As well as that, we're working currently with 4 other corporate companies who want to relocate into that, and because it's corporate, it normally takes a fair while for the gestation period of all those. But the inquiry is very, very good. So it's going well.
This new park is obviously going to benefit the Waikato district and the whole region and the economy as well. Where do you see New Zealand economy sitting at the moment?
I think the economic growth is really positive. I think we grew at 4% in the last 12 months. And that's very strong. And I think it's just going to continue, certainly for the next few years. I think New Zealand as a whole is quite bullish, and we're seeing that in the people wanting to improve or grow their businesses, and part of that is they're looking to future-proof what they're doing, and the number of approaches that we've had from people who say this is the size building we want a bit more land though, so as we can increase over the next 10 years or so. So it's very positive.
For more details, you can go to northgatepark.co.nz. Still to come on Central News, your weather and the new earthquake building standards. Welcome back to Central News. 3 proposals for innovative technology-focused incubators have been accepted by Callaghan Innovation, and one of those will be based in the Bay. I spoke with Timothy Allen from Locus Research about how the repayable grants will be paid.
The repayable grant is structured on a 3-to-1 ratio, so the government provides $450,000 and WNT provides $150,000. That's provided through to the company which is invested in, and the government component, obviously the WNT component, is effectively equity in the business, so it's not repayable. The $450,000 is repayable with a very low interest rate over time, and it can obviously also, if the companies wanted to at a later stage, be repaid earlier.
Why is the government backing this initiative, and what do these companies bring to the economy?
I think what they're looking at is, obviously the government invests a huge amount, in fact more than the private sector, in R&D each year through the Crown Research Institutes, universities and independent research organisations. So what they're, I guess, thinking, and this is, some of it's speculation, but is that, they would actually like to see more commercial return from the investment. And look, that commercial return's not just the attraction of investment, but obviously the creation of highly skilled jobs in companies that are growing and going somewhere.
What kind of highly skilled jobs?
You're probably talking about things where, say for instance, a good prospect to manage an innovation company like one of these technologies early, maybe someone with a technical background that wants to get into management, and there's a lot of people in that space. I think 85% of all New Zealand senior managers have an engineering degree. So, if you can take those people and it gives them a pathway to grow, and they might have sort of worked in another company for a period of time, but they got to a certain level and can't go any further, or you have some technical people who, I guess, having their research realised, they can actually continue to work with a company. A really good example is a company we work for, Pacific Edge. They have a Chief Science Officer, Parry Guilford, who actually works within the Otago University as a researcher. So that's a win-win.
Can you explain what Callaghan is and what they do?
Callaghan Innovation is probably responsible for promoting and funding R&D and innovation in New Zealand. So there's probably 2 significant parts to them. One is the old industrial research was annexed into Callaghan, so that's now part of Callaghan. And then you've got this whole kind of funding, communication and kind of development arm, which is really probably what this is under, which is designed to help promote innovation in the New Zealand economy at quite a broad level.
Loan to value ratio was introduced by the Reserve Bank in October last year, meaning that home buyers must have a deposit of at least 20% before banks can approve funding. Anne-Marie spoke with Kevin Dean from Kevin Dean Real Estate to find out what effect the LVR has had on the rural areas and if the Kiwi quarter acre dream still exists.
Absolutely it does, but whether it's the classic Kiwi quarter acre or a new 600 square metre section in the new subdivision, or maybe an apartment in Auckland, because obviously the push towards urbanisation and going up rather than out with our land use, certainly it still exists. And there's still a lot of young couples out there, and not so young couples too actually, still trying to get into their first home after paying rent for many years and going, what have I got left to show for it? I know I've had a roof over my head, but maybe if I'd been able to put that money into something positive, I'd actually have something positive and tangible to show for it.
Wes, are you seeing KiwiSaver helping the people get into new homes?
KiwiSaver, for those who have been in KiwiSaver for the last few years, and particularly a couple who have both been contributing, they've got some sizable deposits there to put into KiwiSaver. We have got a cap at $300,000 for that home within the regions, a little bit more for the cities, but for $300,000, that's keeping them out of perhaps the Hamiltons, perhaps a little bit more, and bringing them into the Morrinsvilles and the Mattamattas and Cambridge fringes on some areas where they can get into their own home, paying a positive mortgage and locking in some pretty good interest rates at the same time.
How is the rural real estate market at the moment?
The rural real estate market itself is always quiet through the winter.
Right.
You know, our farmers are well into calving, our dry stock farmers have got lambing knocking on the door, and of course it's just not a great time on the farm to perhaps be showing them. We have had a number of transactions through the winter, but traditionally this is our plateau period. It's also a time of contemplation for a lot of people who are perhaps considering coming to the market. Do I want to do another one of these carvings again, getting up and carving a cow at 3 a.m. in the rain, and all the joys that go with it. Absolutely, and of course, coupled with the payout taking a big slice this week, that's obviously adding a pretty big dose of reality for a lot of people as to where to from here.
So we've seen the payout drop from $7 to $6. Does what happen on the farm affect our regional towns' real estate markets?
Certainly does. What it basically does is that farmers will go back to the basics rather than the frilly cream on top. Okay. So they still need to do the basics, and I suppose the rural towns, they're not as hit as hard as perhaps you might think, because a lot of the people who live in the rural towns service those farmers, be it through the meat factories, the dairy factories, and the essential trades. You know, you cannot not get your water pump fixed. You cannot not get your tractor fixed, for instance. So a lot of those guys still stay in employment, although they might just see the hours come back a little bit in the trades and the engineering, for instance. But overall, we still continue on.
For more details, see kdre.co.nz. Coming up next, your weather and seismic strengthening. Welcome back. Seismic assessments of buildings are being carried out all over the country, with the government passing the final reading of the Building Earthquake-Prone Buildings Amendment Bill in May. I spoke with an engineer who has carried out these assessments to find out what exactly makes a building earthquake-prone.
An earthquake-prone building is defined in the Building Act, and it's generally a building which will have its ultimate strength exceeded in a moderate earthquake. The definition of the Building Act is a little bit larger, and NZSE is working on it, the New Zealand Society of Earthquake Engineers. And then you'll ask me, what's a moderate earthquake? That is defined in the building regulations as an earthquake which will cause shaking at the site of your building of the same duration, but 1/3 the strength of an earthquake that is used to design a new building on that site. In simpler terms, if this is a building that's earthquake prone, and that's a building that's new, and we have been asked by the client to do a detailed assessment, we will uncover the strength of the building and say that's the strength of the column, And for an earthquake-prone building, your strength will be roughly 1/3. And that's what 33% NBS is, 33% new building strength. This is called 100% new building strength. And anything less than 33 is an earthquake-prone building.
What did we start to do differently around 1976 then?
1976 was a point where, well, from that point onwards, engineers started using computers. And so when we're doing seismic assessments, it's encouraged to source the drawings, because we started doing things that were a little bit above and beyond the norm.
33% or less of the new build standards, and you most likely have to strengthen your building. How do you guys assess 33%? What are you looking for?
Yeah. New Zealand Society of Earthquake Engineers have done a lot of work in this area. They've got a nice staged approach. So initially we will look at the entire portfolio and use a tool called Initial Evaluation Procedure, for which we need the age of the structure. And then we go to site, look at the drawings, and get an idea of the potential critical structural weaknesses. You factor those two together, apply a bit of judgment, and get the percentage NBS. Now, you've got to remember about the judgment. This is quite a high level exercise with limited time, so you need engineers who are proficient with seismic assessments to be carrying these out. And if once you've established the less than 33, the less than 67, and the above 67, you do detailed assessments on the 33% ones.
Your local council will have information on their website about their latest policy on seismic strengthening in your area. Now for our region's weather for Thursday. Hamilton, cloudy, chance of a shower and then rain in the evening with a northwesterly, and your expected high is 14 and an overnight low of 6. The rest of the Waikato, cloud increasing, a few showers from afternoon, then rain developing at night. Northwesterlies are strengthening there as well. Paeroa 15 and 6, Matamata 13 and 6, Te Awamutu 14 and 6, and Tokoroa 11 and 6 are your expected temperatures. Tauranga, cloud increasing with the chance of a late shower and northwesterly, 15 and 8. The rest of the Bay plenty, cloud increasing and scattered showers from the evening, northwesterly strengthening. Taupoki, your expected high is 13 and an overnight low of 8. That is the news for today. If you have something in your community that you'd like to let us know about, you can like us on our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz. We'd love to hear from you. Join me again tomorrow night for more stories from the Bay of Plenty and the Waikato. I'm Hilary Entwistle, and I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.